Hello everybody and welcome to the Homesteads YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be planting some scarlet runner beans, and first I'm going to give you a quick rundown of the nutritional value and associated health benefits. So there's high amounts of vitamin K, which is good for blood clotting, bone metabolism, and regulating calcium levels. There's high amounts of B1, which is good for glucose metabolism, healthy nerve, muscle, and heart function. B2 maintains healthy blood cells, boosts energy levels, increases healthy metabolic rates, prevents free radical damage, protects your eyes and skin health, aids in skin health. B5 is good with blood glucose maintenance, reduces bad cholesterol, lowering your blood pressure, prevents nerve damage and pain. B9 is good with cellular metabolism and energy production. It's needed during rapid growth phases in life, so it's going to be good for your kids and adolescents and for pregnant women. Decreases risks of cancer, enhances brain function, increases red blood cell production. It's a natural antidepressant, promotes fertility, actually can treat arsenic poisoning, can even decrease the development of autism spectrum disorders and schizophrenia. It's good for liver detox. It slows kidney function decline and increases survival rates in patients with end-stage kidney disease, and promotes bone strength. There's high levels of vitamin E and biotin. And for the mineral content, you have low amounts of sodium, high amounts of potassium, calcium, magnesium. There's phosphorus, iron, zinc, copper, and manganese in there. And with all beans, if you eat the shells, there's high doses of dietary fiber. Before I go on, I'd just like to say that all the things I say, the claims I make about what's in the plants is all peer-reviewed. So you can research this stuff yourself online, check out peer-reviewed articles, and see that these vitamins and minerals actually do what I'm saying. But I just want to let everybody know that I do a decent amount of research and ensure that what I'm telling you is the truth before I say any of it. So before we close off the science section here, there's basically beans are going to provide you with a lot of energy. In a 150 gram serving, there's almost 92 grams of carbs. There's a lot of protein and there's low fat content, but the fat that's in there is good for you. Okay, so secondly, for the planting instructions, I thought I'd start out with showing you the trellis that I built for these. So these are some small trees that I harvested last year. They grow really rapidly along abundant water sources. I can't remember what they're called right now, but basically last year I used them in the garden to trellis the pumpkins and squash. Worked out really well for pumpkins, but not so great for squash as they plant down roots as the vines grow, but they'll do a great job with these scarlet runner beans. They can grow 10 to 12 feet, so these are about 8 feet tall, give or take. And the way I did it basically is I started out by digging 1 foot holes, put the stakes in the ground, compacted the earth pretty solidly at the bottom of the stakes, and loosened it up a little bit as I went up, as you don't want compacted soil for good root formation. But basically where the sticks intersected, I put some tie straps to provide some stability, and then I put some crossers through here and use the rest of the tie straps. And then as I got down, as I got down to the bottom, I ran out, so I used some of the twine here. But basically, near the bottom, I put more, used the twine as additional crossers. So these ones are close to the ground, a couple inches off the ground. And then as you know, the plant grows, you're gonna have to aid them to get a hold of these things and start to grow up them. But as you go up, you can space them out a little more, and they'll send out more tendrils and grab a hold of whatever's around each other, the structure itself, and they'll grow up nice and tall and have no problem after you aid them in getting started. But I made a little gap here. It's about 10 feet long and roughly 4 feet wide. So it gives me some room, or maybe the kids some room, to go through the middle there. And these beans hang down pretty low. They get quite long and heavy. So that'll we'll be able to walk through the middle there and harvest all of them as they come out. Okay, before we dive into the planting instructions, I'm just going to say a few more things about these beans. Last year was the first time we planted the Scarlet runner beans, and quickly became a family favorite. I've always grown bush beans, abundant amounts of bush beans, and they're delicious and they have a lot of the same health benefits. But these really, you could plant them right in the ground. I start my bush beans in trays, and you want to wait until last frost is passed before these start to sprout. Even though they take 7 to 14 days, a week or two, it's recommended that you don't start these until after the last frost is passed, which is coming up real soon here in central Ontario. The golden rule is May 2-4 weekend. But we've been unseasonably warm this year for the last 3 weeks, so honestly most of my vegetable crops have already been planted in the garden. These originated in Central America, so basically from Mexico down to Nicaragua, these can be found growing wild. And one thing I really like about them, I found super interesting, is that they're not just pollinated by bees. They're scarlet runner beans, so they send down a tendril with flowers that they develop from the base down to the tip, and they're scarlet in color, and they're fertilized mostly by hummingbirds, which I found super interesting. We had a ton of hummingbirds around the garden last year, so not only is it providing a ton of nutritional benefit, it also gives us a little bit of sightseeing in the property and aids these little creatures in their difficult life with the migration of such a small bird down to the Americas. I know they can starve to death in 3 to 4 minutes without food, so you're providing them with some food and giving them a chance to have more babies and basically keep their population stable and healthy. So these we harvested last year just from our own. I bought 2 packages. There was only about 10 or 12 beans in each package. I have a ton here, at least 100, and that was just done by leaving a few on the vine near the end of the season. Fully long developed ones still get up to 18 inches long, the beans themselves. They're delicious fresh, they're juicy, they're just so good. But yeah, so it was really easy. I checked a couple of these for viability and they both sprouted, so I'm very confident that they're all going to grow. They're the right color, they're not wrinkled, they're healthy looking. So basically the planting instructions for these, they go 1 inch into the ground, so kind of like up to your first knuckle, maybe a little less, and 3 inches apart to allow for root development and not too much competition between beans. So I push them down into the ground sideways, take the pointy end and I push them down into the ground, go down in about 1 inch, cover them up, and make sure you give them a good water when you're done. They'll be coming out of the ground in 7 to 14 days, and like I said, you'll have to give them an assist to get started onto the trellis network. But once they're up a little bit, then they'll take over from there, and you can always, come out and play and help them out a little more, which I am spending all day outside this time of year and playing around, so I'll be doing that. But that's really it. Very easy, very, very productive species, and delicious with a ton of benefits. So I would recommend anybody to get these into their garden. I'm going to plant on both sides and all the way around. So I'm going to get going. If you found this video useful, informative, you could give me a thumbs up, a like, a share. I would really appreciate that. And any subscriptions are always valued. So thanks for tuning in, folks. Have a great long weekend, and we'll catch you next time.